Heyo everyone, Haku here with my review of Fear the Walking Dead Season 2 Episode 5, which was Captive. Now this one, I think that there were a lot of good things, but for some reason I personally didn't feel as into it, but despite my personal feelings, I still very much enjoyed it. It's sort of a weird feeling, it's hard to put in words. I did enjoy it, I did think it was really good. But I don't know. I guess I really enjoyed it, but I didn't think that it was great. I don't know. I mean, really, it was just exciting overall, and there was none of the little bickering, the internal conflict that's been annoying earlier in the series. I can't really think of anything to fault it for off the top of my head. Like, it was just... It was good. It was good in every way, but not perfect. So starting off, Connor is cooking for Alicia, and then he walks out. Pregnant chick is just a bitch, takes her food, and I really don't like this pregnant chick. She's really a dick, and I think that the way that they wrote that is sort of for that point where they're like, you know, you can't kill a pregnant character, but she's an asshole. So you're torn between, like, I don't want them to kill her because she has a baby inside of her, but at the same time, I wish somebody would kill her because she's an ass. But it kind of makes you torn, and it was funny the way they did that. And we get the reveal that when Alicia runs outside, that they're on a big old tuna boat, dry docked, somewhere with 5 smaller boats that are under Connor and his crew's control. And that's pretty much all they're doing is hijacking more boats. I don't really think they have a particular destination or anything in mind. I just think that they're hijacking boats, stockpiling the supplies, and this is sort of where they live. So back at the boat, Daniel and Chris are with Reed, and it was just such a good scene the way Daniel was sort of interrogating him as he was doing the first aid. That was really cool, and especially the one really great line where Daniel was like, you know, really terrifying people don't talk about how terrifying they are. That was a really good line, and of course Daniel, he has the experience, he would know. We also find out through some exposition with Strand and Luis talking, that Luis says that they only have a small window of time to get to Mexico, and also that they only have money for 2 people. I like Strand's responses though, with everything's a negotiation, and of course when he says, like, Madison, she has the day to go save her people, and he's like, you know, he of all people, talking about Thomas Abigail, would understand my obligation. So I think that's really cool how obligation is such an important thing to him, and I can see Strand really coming around to bond more with people personally, because he could easily just ditch them, but I think it's nice to see how he's gotten close to them. He's obligated to them just as much as they are obligated to him, and it's sort of a working relationship at this point. And honestly, I think Madison is so stupid with the Nick and Chris stuff, not allowing them to go out and do stuff when this is the world they're in. They need that experience while it's early on now, before things get even more serious. But again, that's easy for fans to say, because we as fans know where this is going, sort of, that the world is sort of going to fall into nothingness, so we know that they are going to need that. But from their point of view, if there is still a Coast Guard out there, Border Patrol, whatever, if there's still stuff like that out there, for them, they could think maybe eventually the governments will get the disease under control and things will go back to how it was. So it's still only a couple weeks in. It's a bit early to judge them too harshly on that. Now, Alicia's job with this new group is to monitor boats and decide which one to hijack. I also like in this, she steals Jack's knife and stuff like that. I really liked how a common theme throughout the episode is you could never tell if he was playing her or if she was playing him. I personally think that Alicia was playing him the entire time because she wanted to save her family. I'm giving her credit, but they acted it so well where you really couldn't tell which one was playing which. Also, Alex is definitely there, like I guessed, and she told Travis, I guess she was going to be a prisoner as well, but no. She said that Connor wanted to know what she could offer after she killed Jake because they were stranded out there. Oh, stranded. And after she killed him, she was found by Connor, and he said, what can you offer us? And she offered the Abigail, but she wanted Travis in particular because, in her words, he knew the right thing to do, but he did the other. And that was such an amazing line, and showing the way Travis's character is. Travis's character is the moral compass. He knows what's right and wrong. He's got a stronger sense, at least, of what's right and wrong than the other characters, yet he sometimes has to go back on that and make the hard choice that isn't necessarily the good choice, but it's the choice that is good for his family. And it was interesting to show that as a human it was a bad choice, but he was just trying to protect his family, and at the end of the day he was choosing his family over those people. So, as for the one conversation that we saw in the sneak peek or whatever, I still stick by thinking that Strand knows what's best for Nick a lot more than Madison, because like he said, he saw his potential so early on just meeting him. She just sees all of Nick's tendencies as like negative. He's just a druggie and that's all he could ever do with that. But Strand is seeing, he was a druggie because he wasn't afraid of it. He had addictive tendencies. And Strand is like saying that's his personality. Instead of trying to suppress that, how about teach him how to use it in a constructive manner, in a way other than drugs? So we get the little tussle, I guess, when Jack and Alicia are in the radar room and they spot the Abigail on the radar, and it's way too soon for them to be getting back if Reed had dropped her family off. So they get into a little fight. Again, you can never tell who is playing who with them, and they make the plan to escape and go find her family, though it appears as though Jack definitely wasn't looking to go find her family. He was just going to run off with her. So then we get into two really great scenes with sort of character building and relationship building. The first with Chris and Nick, and I thought that was really nice to see how they had this brotherly connection going on. I really enjoyed seeing that, and actually seeing the two characters interact in like such a really healthy way, I feel. And also, right after that, the Travis and Alicia scene where Travis tells her, if you can, escape without me, don't come back for me. Because that shows that he's really starting to care for her, and they didn't have they had a close relationship, and Travis is a good guy, but they weren't that close, I feel, at the beginning of the series. And now they've gotten to the point where I think Travis feels that way about especially his family, but as an extension, probably Daniel's family too, because they're part of the group. He's starting to feel like their group is sort of connected and a family, and I think that's what a lot of people like about the main group in The Walking Dead, so I hope that our group can come closer together like that, like we're getting the hints at from here on. So Madison works out the hostage deal, and then we get Chris shooting Reed. It was really awesome. I liked how they showed the gore a bit. I'm not a big fan of gore, but I think it helps with the realism when they show it. So I definitely because it feels like a cop-out if they just show stuff like that off-screen. So I thought that was really cool. And really interesting with Chris. I don't blame Chris for doing it. I still think it's a cool character, and I think it deepens the character more. But it was so weird. The part with Madison was the weird part, where he was sort of convincing Madison, like, I had to do it. You agree that I had to do it, right? I had to do it. And he's crying and stuff because that is some sociopath shit right there. You agree, you realize that I had to do it, and making her say to herself he had to do it, or you had to do it, that is, that's some pretty sociopathic manipulative shit. That's a bit, that's sketchy. I still really love Chris, but that's some interesting character development they got going there. But apparently he doesn't hit the brain because Reed turns, he comes back, and Ophelia is still the most useless character ever. She says a line about spilling blood like she's all cool, but she legit does nothing this entire episode, just like she does nothing every other episode. So Ophelia is still a severely underdeveloped character who has done nothing the entire series, really. She's just sort of there in the background. And of course, after Reed turns, the scene with Daniel realizing was so great. Him realizing that they could use Walker Reed as a hostage. And the entire usage of him as a hostage was really, really well done. Because something like this happened in the comics, I have seen some arguments about it. I don't really think they took it from the comics. I think that using the Walker as a hostage is just such a general, broad idea. And the way it was done so very differently than the comics that I don't really think they drew inspiration from that. I think that fans might be looking a little too far into that particularly, because looking at the both, they're two very different things, and they're both a very general situation as far as hostages go. And the whole reason that the Walker was used as a hostage was very different, from my memory at least. So I don't really think it's a negative impact on the main show or on the comics at all. So at one point Daniel hears a voice when he's putting the bag on Reed's head. I think the voice may have been his father getting him to join up as a child soldier, or maybe whoever it was that got him to join up as a child soldier. Again, interesting development if he goes down that path of the way he starts having flashbacks or PTSD maybe from how this world is similar to his days as a child soldier. Or at least, yeah, I'm pretty sure he said he was a kid when he had to start fighting for, was it El Salvador or Panama or something like that is where he said that he came from, something like that. Alicia getting into the fight with the pregnant chick as well I will bring up, because I think that perhaps the pregnant chick will be losing the baby because of that push and fall, and she'll be coming back even more for revenge against Alicia in particular. But again, I think it was cool that Alicia did that. She knew that, okay, you're pregnant, but if it's me or you, it's gotta be me at this point. I'm not gonna die so that you can just keep me locked in this cell and be a douche. Especially when it's not like you've been good to that baby. You've been like smoking and drinking and stuff while pregnant. So that's a very not good lesson of the day. Don't smoke and drink while pregnant. And going beyond that scene, we get the actual hostage trade-off, and the Walker bit two guys, which is a little bit cheesy, but screw it, it was fine. Especially the guy holding his arm up there to get bitten. It was a little cheesy, but screw it, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. Also, a part with that I really think is funny is in the original show, we get like freaking 2 hostage exchanges per season, and they always go wrong. Our group keeps trying to do hostage trade-offs, and I don't know why we keep trying to do it, because it always goes wrong. And then here the Fear group does it once, and it works out pretty good for them. The hostage exchange, nobody from our group died. A couple people from their group presumably died. Things worked out well for us. And then we end with Alicia getting the escape jump, which was a really, really nice scene once again. And then they leave. And I think that my prediction from before is right, because we didn't kill all of this group, which means that next episode is going to be all about getting past the Border Patrol and getting to the Abigail complex. And then the mid-season finale, of course, the complex that we all think is going to be safe is going to be rendered unsafe, and we're going to have to go on the move again, because I think that Jack, Alex, and the pregnant chick, who maybe not lost the baby, and whoever else is left from their group is going to come attack again. And possibly Connor as well is still the leader and still wants revenge, and now the rest of them are on boat for the revenge. And it'd be really cool if they learned the cutting off the limb trick, and then Connor comes back with a hook hand or something, so that he's a pirate captain with the hook. I think that'd be very funny. Maybe a little bit cheesy, but I think it'd be pretty, I think it'd be funny. And I like when they sort of drop the realism a little for something entertaining. And of course, like, it's not completely unrealistic, because I mean, I would have that kind of sense of humor. Like, if I got bit by a walker in that world, I was a pirate captain, I would totally say, okay, chop the arm off, I survived, and then I would just have a hook hand, because screw it. The whole irony of it, I think it'd be hilarious. So I thought this episode was honestly really good, albeit not perfect. Next episode, not sure how I'm going to feel, but I think we're leading up to a really good mid-season finale. In my opinion, at least, I think we're leading up to a really good one. And this one was just good. I thought that the biggest parts for this were the acting. The acting was great. Jesse McCartney as Reed while he was in pain and hostage, that was really, really good. Especially Daniel's acting as well, and so was Travis in the cell. His acting was very good. A lot of it was really good. And the lines from Daniel, the lines from Alex and Travis, just, it was really well written, this episode. So I really enjoyed it, even though I don't think it was the best or anything. So I'm going to give it 9 sociopaths out of 10. It was really good, just not the best it could have been. So anyway, sincerely thank you for watching. Like if you did like the video. Comment down there, tell me what you thought of the episode and what you thought of my thoughts on it. Leave your own thoughts down there as well, so we can discuss it. Subscribe for more Fear the Walking Dead, Tower of God, One Piece, and a lot more. Almost forgot there. Follow on Twitter as well for updates on when I'm posting stuff or pushing stuff back. Thank you once again for watching, and I will see you all next time.